Hey guys, welcome to what is probably going to be a second channel video. Um, so, I just watched Wilbur's, final lore stream, and, I just wanted to sit down and kind of talk about it, because it was a very interesting experience for me, and I kind of wanted to get, like, all of the, like, thoughts out of my brain before they, like, run away, so you guys can kind of just, like, hear it. I don't know if anyone wants to hear my thoughts about it, but I'm talking anyway, so if you clicked on this video, that's what you signed up for. Me talking and a blank screen, so enjoy that. But yeah, so basically, I can already tell that there are gonna be two different types of people with this. There are gonna be the people that are like, I was disappointed by this. I feel like it wasn't, you know, like, it was kinda like, you know, small and weird. And then there's the type of people that are gonna be like me, that really, really enjoyed it. So, here's the thing. I was, like, leading up to the stream, for the past few weeks, every time I have seen a Wilbur stream notification, I have been like, oh my god, I'm going to die, I can't watch this, I have homework, I'm gonna be an emotional wreck. Because in relation to that, for the past 2 months, since about early July, I've been a sentimental disaster and a half. Because here's the thing about me, guys. You guys know that I started uploading Dream SMP content in December of 2020, but I joined the fan base in August of 2020. Specifically, I can remember the date because I started watching it 5 days after the Saddest War animatic came out. So I have been in this fan base since August 17th of 2020, and it's been it's been such a wild ride, honestly. It's just been crazy, and seeing content creators grow, seeing the SMP grow and change, and it's been crazy, and because of that, I've been a bit of a sentimental disaster lately. I mean, you know, everyone talking about, like, doing their final lore streams, and Tommy's, you know, like, a tribute to Dream SMP video thing. It's just been a lot to think about, and I've had some, like, I've had some interesting nights as a result of this. I remember, I think it was sometime in July or even August that I, was, laying in bed and just trying to fall asleep, and I had my playlist on that I used to help me fall asleep sometimes, and, La Jolla came on, which, if you don't know, that's a song from Your City Gave Me Asthma. It's one of the two, like, the two that, are, like, I would say it's Since I Saw Vienna and La Jolla that I usually use to, like, fall asleep to, because the other ones are just a little too emotionally charged in a ventish way that, like, I can't usually handle them when I'm trying to fall asleep. But those two are really great for falling asleep, too, when I'm not an emotional disaster and thinking about all the times in, you know, late 2020 and, you know, mid 2021 that I would listen to those songs and they would bring me a great amount of comfort. And just thinking about the old days of the SMP, it's been really weird, and it's been a lot to deal with, and I think, like, leading up to the stream, I was dreading this stream. Like, I was legitimately dreading it. I didn't think I was gonna be able to, like, properly process it, because as stupid as this is, and I want to clarify, if you feel this way, I'm not saying you're stupid, but to me, speaking to myself about this, and speaking as, like, if I were to tell this to anyone who's, like, not in the fanbase to the degree that I was, I would understand why they would think I am so very weird, but this server has meant so much to me. I didn't think 2020 was a bad year when it was happening, but looking back on it, that was such a bad year for me, and I don't know, like, I would have been... I had some rough times, yeah, but, like, I didn't realize until, like, later on how much that server meant for me, how much it got me through in, you know, like, late 2020 especially, because that 2020 didn't start off too bad, but there were some times in late 2020 that were pretty rough for me. And then I kind of had an interesting time in 2021 as well. Just a lot of new things, a lot of adjustments, and the server just meant a lot to me. And I think, honestly, I just want to talk about, like, you know, some of the content creators that meant the most to me. I think I started, I found it initially by, I was on a bit of a nostalgia run. I was watching, old, like, you know, I found Herobrine videos, right? And I found, specifically, Dream used to do a series called, Minecraft Unsolved, I think? I think that's what that was called. It was like a take on BuzzFeed Unsolved, but Minecraft stuff. And there was a Herobrine episode, and of course I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is pretty nice. And then I, like, you know, kind of, I didn't really consume any content of his, like, I watched some of the, I think I actually watched some of the other Minecraft Unsolved, but that was about it. And then I saw one of his manhunts, and I was like, I'll give it a try, why not? And I got really into those, and then from there, I had, like, a Bad Boy Halo and Skeppy phase. I binged, like, a lot of their videos. I remember, you know, quite a few, like, nights where I was just feeling generally pretty bad, and I would just you know, put on, like, I'd watch probably like 7 Skeppy videos consecutively, and they just were very special to me. And from there, I think I was watching animations around this time of, like, you know, Dream Team stuff, and that's when I found the War Animatic, and I was like, I don't understand what's going on here, but this is really cool. And then I think I had also seen, like, The World Was Wide Enough by, I think, Radiant Rice? Maybe? I think it's the same person who did the Gory Demise Halloween map, maybe, or is that Taffy Waves? I don't know. But it was someone like that, one of the, like, you know, OGs of the thing, and I just kind of, I was consuming all this content, and I was like, I want to understand what's going on. What's that little fox boy doing there with all these humans? Who's that goofy guy with the sunglasses? What's going on with the discs here? I didn't see this in any Dream videos, and eventually I was like, oh, okay, this is on Twitch. I already watch a few people on Twitch. Let me go over there and watch Twitch, right? And that's when I got into it, and it was just really, really cool. I started watching, you know, after I had watched a few of the War Animatics, I was like, okay, I want to understand what's going on here. And that same day I got into it and was watching streams, and it was awesome. It was so cool. The jokes were great, and all these people, and that's when I would say, oh, sorry, 1 second. Hey, I'm back, sorry. My dad came into the room and we were talking about dinner. I've been a little bit derailed here, but I think I can get back on track. So, for a while I was definitely still more on, like, I guess kind of the Dream Team side of Dream SMP content, and that was really cool and that was really great, but eventually I started branching out into some of Tommy's content, and I, in fact, did find him annoying at first. But definitely he grew on me, and then from there I really liked Tubbo's content a lot, and I found Wilbur very interesting, and that's when I kind of, you know, got into those, and then I watched a fair bit of Barrett as well. I found his streams very nice and relaxing, so I watched those a little bit, I think around this time also, I don't remember exactly when this was, but it was the Dream vs. Technoblade duel, and that's when I knew of Technoblade before, of course, because it was talked about so, like, he was talking about so much in the fanbase, but that's when I really, like, started watching his content, and I did essentially what I had done with Skeppy's content, where I just binged all of his videos over a course of a few particularly bad nights during 2020, and they provided me so much comfort, and let me tell you, I have watched the heck out of those videos. They're really nice, whether you're, you know, playing Minecraft and just want something to put on in the background that kind of fits the mood, or, you know, you're fully focused, and you're just having a particularly rough night. It was just awesome. And, from there, I kind of got a lot more into the, like, you know, Sleepy Boys, and, like, I think Circle Clooney Duo is the name for Tubbo and Tommy, and into that side of things, right? Then I learned about Phil, and I realized I had been watching MCC, like, occasionally before this, but just, like, random highlights from some of the people I used to watch at the time, which would have been, like, Shovel, and Scott, and CPK, and I don't know if Joel Smallish Beans is over there, but I used to watch them a lot. I think the last series I had watched before the Dream SMP was Kingdom Crafted in the like earlier days of it, which was really cool. But that's how I knew about MCC, but then I was like, oh wait, they're also in MCC, that's really cool. But yeah, so I kind of found out about Philza, and I didn't really get fully into watching his content until he joined on November 16th, when L'Manberg went, you know, up in explosions and wither juice. And it was awesome. I skipped over a lot. I just skipped over all of Pogtopia, but Pogtopia was one of my favorite arcs. It was the first one I was around for all of it, and the animations were so cool. I remember seeing so many and being so jealous of the Squillos. I remember one of the ones that sticks out to me the most is Squiddos, which is led to some really cool things since then. But that was so cool and so special to me, and I don't ever want to put down the current fan base of the Dream SMP, especially the good sides of it, because I love how dedicated and how wonderful the really good side of the fan base is, and how dedicated the artists and cosplayers and all those awesome people are. But if you were not around during 2020 Dream SMP, I feel bad for you, because it was just so nice. It was the days before, you know, Dream-related drama, and, oh, these Minecraft people, they get things running on Twitter all the time, and this person who's also gay is homophobic, I don't know. Before all of that nonsense, it was just a really nice time, and there's so much cool art, and again, Pogtopia was one of my favorite arcs just because of so much of the content that was created back then just was so funny. Not to say that it's not funny now, but like some of my favorite moments from back then, and like the art that was made. And I just wish, it's like that feeling of when you've watched a really good TV show and you wish you could watch it for the first time again, I think is what I'm feeling, where it's just like, I wish I could experience all of that in real time again. But things do move on, and from there, you know, New L'Manberg happened, and that's when I started watching Ronbu. And you guys probably could guess that I'm a bit of a Ronbu enjoyer. Based on the percentage of my Dream SMP related animations that are featuring and or about him. And I really enjoyed Ronbu's content. His lore was cool, his streams had good vibes, and I liked them a lot. And that was just really, really great for me, honestly. And yeah, so that was really nice. And New L'Manberg was cool, and Exile arc is my favorite arc. Again, for some of the similar reasons with, you know, some of the jokes, but it struck an emotional chord at the time for me. I think there were a lot of things that I found very, very relatable about it, and I felt like it just meant a lot to me at the time. And even though I would say, like, as far as actual enjoyment of like Dream SMP content went, I probably preferred the previous ones. That one meant a lot to me because it was also during a kind of rougher period for me in my life, with it being kind of like December-ish of 2020 was pretty rough. That's actually when I started making the Dream SMP related animations, as you guys probably know about, and it was interesting. I remember just all of the stuff. I had so many memories I could talk about, so many MCCs, so many lore streams, so many chill streams, just all the content that I consumed. Ronbu re-sparking my joy and like love of horror. Life is Strange, Ronbu playing that's been a very comforting thing for me. It's such a sad game, and it's a little bit concerning that it means as much to me as it does, and it's as comforting to me as it is. But I found a lot of I guess it's just meant a lot to me with Chloe and Max from Life is Strange. It's been like a big comfort show for me, and just like all the bits since then have been fantastic. I could go through so many of them. B Duo, the peak of B Duo was really nice for me as well. I thought that was really nice, and the meetup. I can't believe that it's been over a year now. It doesn't feel real. None of this feels real, by the way. My brain is perpetually stuck in 2020, and I think that's alright. I'll live. But, like, and then just recent stuff as well. Well, no, this isn't even recent anymore. Again, my sense of time has been scuffed, but, you know. Tommy's apartment. He's moving to America soon, I think. I can't tell if he's being serious, but I think he is, so that's interesting. I wonder if, by the way, I have to wonder if Wilbur is actually moving to Utah. Like, Utah seems like a weird choice, but I also know that, like, Wilbur likes nature, and if this is his way of announcing that he's moving to Utah, I am so for it. Like, that is the best way to announce, hey, I'm moving to America, guys. But yeah, so that's really, really cool. And yeah, all of this to say, all of this is kind of give you guys perspective of me going into this stream and looking at all the silliness of it and being like, you know what? I love this. This is great. So obviously I was playing Minecraft. I was actually recording a video as the stream notification happened, and I missed it. It was like 20 minutes. I saw the notification when I was about 20 minutes into recording, so I went, okay, I'm gonna have to watch it afterwards because I'm mid-recording, I have a thing I need to finish, and there's not much point of starting watching the stream 20 minutes in. So I waited and finished up the recording, and I saw in my Discord server, Magpie was just like, what just happened? And I was like, oh god, I really hope this isn't a, like, emotionally charged what just happened, because again, I was like, kind of dreading, honestly, I was kind of dreading this stream a lot, because I was like, this is gonna be, like, so final and so big, and it's gonna, like, kick me in the heart, and, like, both in a, like, you know, story sense, because we know how the Minecraft YouTubers love to mess with us, and, you know, like, listen, I've got, like, I was a Rambu lore enjoyer, so, like, I'm used to the Blockmen trying to pull at our heartstrings, right? I was dreading it in that capacity where I was like, I'm gonna be sad, but then also in a, like, real-life capacity where I was like, this server that's meant so much to me for, like, 2 years now and got me through some really rough times is, like, this is, like, very, like, it's not ending, obviously, and I know there are plans for a season 2 or whatever, and the season 2 is helping ease the, like, it's over. Oh god, a little bit, but, like, Wilbur's character was such a big part of everything that happened that it just feels so weird for this to be, like, a final thing. It wasn't weird when he originally died, because it's like there were clear plans to, like, continue on with everything. But now it's like with the server being, you know, there being very minimal lore recently, it's like, oh god, you know? But I was really nervous for the stream. But when I started watching it, I was like, I think we all, not all, but I think a lot of us had, like, an idea of what Wilbur was planning to, like, what we thought Wilbur was planning to do, and I think we were all kind of like, this is gonna be rough. And I think, you know, Tommy's character kind of having that feeling as well. And also, I'm assuming that the thing with Quackity was very intentional. They didn't have a final interaction, which was interesting. It was an interesting choice, story-wise, and I don't think it was a bad one. I think it was a weird one, because I feel like hopefully in Quackity's lore stream next Saturday, he's going to have, like, kind of a, like, end to their weird rivalry relationship thing. But if they don't, that's very interesting story-wise, and the part of me that really enjoys things that are left up to interpretation really kind of enjoys that. But another part of me does want some closure to that. But then, you know, Wilbur being all cryptic and going off, and I was like, oh god, I could feel the, like, emotion building in all of their voices, and it was interesting. it was, yeah. And, you know, Tommy being rightfully like, dude, where are you going? I felt like they did a pretty good job of making it fairly realistic, and, you know, I feel like we learned a lot about Wilbur's character. I think that Wilbur's character has always been a little bit difficult for people to read, including myself, and I think it was very interesting kind of getting to see some of the inner workings of his brain during this conversation with Tommy. Yeah, it was just interesting, and all of that. I enjoyed the mixture of something emotionally charged in with something so goofy as Wilbur being like, I'm from Utah! I'm so sorry, man, I'm from Utah, you're not gonna like it. I'm so conflicted about that, because, like, the part of my brain that is like, I understand how other people's perceptions are gonna be. They're gonna be like, that was weird. Because I'm like, yeah, that was weird, you know? But at the same time, it makes me so happy because it feels like the stupidity that we had in the earlier days, and the, you know, Wilbur canonically having a child with a fish, and Wilbur canonically having a child with a fridge, and how all this started with the hot dog van, and just all of the craziness, how it felt like it fit in with that really well. And it felt oddly like, I don't know if heartwarming is the right word, but it felt very comfortable. It left me with, like, a happy feeling. And I know that, like, this is gonna be, like, emotionally devastating for character Tommy, and I'm simply choosing to live in denial about that part, because I don't want to think about that, and I will thank you guys to not point it out in the comments. But, like, we're just being like, I'm gonna head off to Utah. And by the way, I haven't listened to, like, the full VOD, or I haven't watched the full VOD technically because it was muted partially. Wilbur has, like, a VOD YouTube channel thing. I'm gonna watch it there and, you know, make sure that I don't miss any, like, important bits. But I skipped over the muted section. I just kind of, like, I watched a little bit of what was happening, and I couldn't do a whole lot. But I want to talk about the Utah cuts because I really enjoyed that. I wanna watch that over a few times, because this was, like, again, another thing I've always loved about the Dream SMP is, like, professional stupidity is the best way to describe the jokes of this server, because they will take, like, you know, serious stuff, or, like, make, like, Quackity with his full, like, movie style stuff while playing Minecraft, and with these stupid joke bits that I think are great. And that's something I've always loved about the Dream SMP, is, like, high production value jokes. And I really enjoyed that cutscene for that reason. And, like, Wilbur being, you know, like, fully, like, cosplay. I don't even know if it counts as cosplay, because it is his character, but, like, cosplaying his character and just vibing in Utah. I don't think there could have been, in my opinion, a better ending, at least for me personally. And it just felt right and nice and comfortable, and not emotionally devastating, and not, you know, difficult to, like, not something that was going to launch me back into, like, oh god, I've been with the server for so long and it means so much to me. It just felt nice and comfortable. And I also wanted to say I really loved the Ghost person. It was really cool and sweet, and I've started growing a weird, like, attachment to, like, Ghostbur recently. I was never one of the people who really enjoyed Ghostbur when he was first around. I was like, yeah, he's cool. But, like, I never really liked his character that much until recently, weirdly enough. And that was really nice for me. And, you guys potentially be looking out for some Ghostbur-related content, because here's the way I look at things. You know, headcanons are always fine and good, but Wilbur's not doing his lore anymore, so I'm just gonna steal his characters and make funny little story and do cool things. You guys might be seeing something cool and nice that I've been, like, kind of lower key working on and thinking about recently. But basically, Ghostbur and friend scene, very cool and sweet, and shout out to the animator, because good vibes. I hope character Wilbur is doing well in Utah. I hope Ghostbur and friend are doing well in Limbo. And and I hope everyone on the SMP is having a good time. I hope Quackity's doing his Lost Nevadas thing. I hope, you know, all the content creators themselves are having a good time and doing alright. And I hope all of you watching this video and just generally in the fan base are having a good day and are doing well. This has been a wild ride for me and for hundreds of thousands of others. And I can't wait to see what happens next for this fan base. I can't wait to see what Season 2 will bring. I can't wait to see how the content creators will grow even more. I'm excited for Tubnet. I'm excited for Lovejoy. I'm excited for just all of the things, all of the cool projects. I'm really excited for Generation Loss. Honestly, I thrive on story-based content, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of these creators will at least have that in some capacity. I'm really enjoying Wilbur's stuff as of recent. I've always found a lot of comfort in Phil's streams. I think it's going to be something that I continue to watch pretty often. Tommy's content is always just enjoyable, honestly. I haven't been watching Rambo as much recently, but I am really excited to see what his bigger projects will bring, and dude, Tubnet's gonna be exciting. I'm excited for Tubnet. Things are good right now, I think, and that's nice. This has been a pleasant surprise, I think, for me. And I hope it's been the same for all of you. I'm very content, and I've been very, I'd say, inspired by this story. I think that there's a lot of stuff I would have never thought to do, and a lot of stuff that I never would have even had the, like, courage to think about doing. Like, before the Dream SMP, I never would have had the courage to try out Minecraft content, even though it's something that I wanted to do for years before before the Dream SMP, because of the content creators that I used to watch before then. I would have never had the courage to try it, I don't think, if it weren't for the Dream SMP. I think I owe, not owe necessarily, I think I can attribute a lot to the Dream SMP, to the fan base. I think there's a lot that I really appreciate from it, and I just want to thank everyone who's in the fan base, everyone, all of the content creators, all of the people in the fan base. It's just been nice, and even with the bad parts of the fan base, even with the people who hate the fan base, it's been nice, it's meant a lot, and I hope that it continues. I hope that even as things grow and change, I can still enjoy and love the content. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. But yeah, this has just been a ramble from me, being an emotional, I wouldn't quite call myself an emotional disaster right now, but I'd say just getting some emotions out into the world. It's been nice. I've had a really great time, and I'm intimidated, maybe a little bit sad about things. I'm intimidated by the future. I'm a little bit sad about the ending, but I am excited and happy and doing good, I would say. I mean, there's still a lot going on. There's still, Technoblade still passed away, and that's something that I think the community is going to feel the shockwaves of for a long time, and I am so sorry to all of the people who knew him personally. I really hope you're doing okay. He meant a lot to a lot of people, and he won't be forgotten. It's difficult to talk about, but this is gonna be my final thank you before I end this recording. I just want to say thank you, everyone. Just everyone. No matter what type of person you think you are, no matter, what's going through your head right now, no matter what's going on in your life right now, just thank you. I feel like I have a lot to be grateful for right now. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Bye.